It's Red Dead Redemption. We're on Xbox Series X facing off against the original Xbox 360. That's right, I brought out the old hardware and I did a comparison video. So on the left we've got Series X, which runs at a 4K resolution. On the right we have about 720p, and neither of them have HDR support. Both run at 30 FPS. So I tried to line these up the best I could with just a regular situation in the single player. I was trying to do multiplayer, but I kept getting night sessions or whatever. But, you know, this actually is a really good area of the game because I can sync it up well for this particular save. I have a little bit of a story segment. I have a little bit of, like, cutscenes. And, you know, they're pretty evenly lined up throughout this, so I hope you kind of enjoy this look at the difference between the two of them. Now, for a 360 era title, Red Dead looks really great on that original hardware. I was kind of surprised. Now, with that, it is very jagged on the 360 version, which is entirely cleaned up on Series X with the 4K. You know, they really did just entirely smooth it out, and it's fantastic to have that sort of resolution boost in these older titles because it just really cleans them up quite a bit. It just makes them look significantly better. And you know, loading is going to be a little bit improved. I tried to skip over some of that just for the fact that, you know, I wanted to line these cutscenes up right. But yeah, you know, it does load actually decently fast on both platforms. At least I thought so, but just a little bit faster with the Series X. Now with that, as you can tell, for me, the cutscenes seem to be one of the bigger telltale signs of the differences between the two, especially when you're doing like a direct comparison like we are here. You know, it's almost got like a bit of a washed out type thing, and it's just not nearly as sharp, you know, around the characters, around a lot of the furniture and objects that are in the scenes. It just comes alive a lot more with the higher resolution, and hopefully that is coming across, even though we are, you know, kind of zoomed in to a degree, I guess you could say, in regards to the split images, you know, getting them side by side. You cut off the sides, you don't get the widescreen look. But yeah, it is a significant difference when you are playing them. And I was actually surprised I was able to get these lined up so well in regards to not this part, but the segment that comes after. If you're wondering about audio, that is coming from the left side, which is the Series X. Just sounds better off of there. And yeah, it's just kind of the classic Western experience from Rockstar. I mean, this game is definitely just iconic, and the fact that they were able to get it, you know, upgraded through the Xbox One X era, and then we carry that forward on Series X, is just an absolute treat for people that want to, you know, revisit this game for the first time. It's just quite fantastic, and like everything is just so much cleaner about the game, you know, from like the close-up objects and people that you see to the far distance objects. You know, everything is just significantly sharper and improved. So yeah, we're going to be doing some horseback racing here because that's a good way to also show off the performance, because I definitely noticed some it wasn't quite as clean on the 360 in comparison to the Series X when it came to doing some of the racing stuff or some of the faster things. Oh, this really, I think, shows it off nice, is like some of the jagged edges that are along the bottom of the general store there. I think those kind of show up a little bit more. It really is a lot of, like, you know, the building things, the open world stuff that I think also sticks out quite a bit, and I hope you're seeing that kind of difference. And again, just trying to cut these at places to try to make sure everything is as even as possible throughout, so that you can see the difference between the two. And hopefully you are seeing that there is, like, you know, quite a gap between them. And also it was weird, like initially I did a run, but I didn't quite like the setup on the run, and then I went and did the run again, reloading the save, and like people were not in the same position as they were before. I was like, what? Because it was like, you know, the exact same save just from moments prior, and all of a sudden it's like the people aren't quite in the same area. I was just like, what is going on with this? But, you know, that's an open world, right? It's hard to line up open world environments because things such as, like, the NPCs, or even some of the, like, well, I guess you would consider animals and stuff NPCs, but they're not really going to be necessarily the same spot. And yeah, now we're doing a bit of a race, so this segment should be fun because it's just kind of like galloping along, and I was like, okay, we can kind of even this up to a degree, because well, you're basically following a line, right, between the two characters doing their race, which is a bit of a fun moment in the game, I think. I don't know.
Come on. Are you saving the best for last? How you doing back there? Go. You still think you're gonna win this, don't you?
Giddy up! Oh, no you don't!
Come on. I bet you're starting to regret your brave words, Miss McFarland. Hey. Come on.
Yeah! Come on, Mr. Marston!
That's more like it.
This is gonna be close! Where do you think you're going?
Should I wait for you to catch up? Let's go. Come. Yeah.
Come on, boys!
Let's go. Would you like me to slow down?
So that was a rather riveting sort of chase there, and I hope that kind of showed off a bit of a comparison between the two in a more quick-paced area. Also, the trees and stuff, the flora seems to just get a little bit sharper on Series X. It seems to be cleaned up quite a bit. Same with some little animals in the distance. During that initial opening kind of walk that we were doing, there was a dog there and a chicken, but here you could see some of the chickens in the background, which are kind of funny. I don't know. It's neat that they're included in the cutscene. And at this point, we're just going to be doing a long sort of ride on the horse. Nice and easy going. Just showing off a little bit of the countryside and kind of presenting, the difference between the two. And like always, these videos are a lot of work, these side-by-sides. So, liking the video is great because it does take, a significant amount of time to actually get these going. And, subscribing is cool too. But in general, I hope you, sort of found this interesting, got some context in regards to how the game is looking with the improvements, what it offers gameplay-wise, getting an idea of it in modern hardware. And it's always fun to do these sorts of, revisits to absolutely classic games, because I know people love Red Dead Redemption, obviously. Like, it's a huge deal, right? And then they continued with the sequel, and there was some stuff beforehand, too. It's just, yeah. You get to view this guy's interesting journey in the West, where, being an outlaw eventually isn't necessarily the best thing you can do. But you get to have some fun through the years while doing so, and I think this one holds a heavy place in a lot of people's catalogs when it comes to playing and thinking of iconic games that are really defining of a generation. The 360 era, this was like such a mega hit at that time. And it really, really pushed Rockstar forward, which was, interesting. It was just kind of fun to do a little bit of a lineup revisit, seeing the difference performance-wise, visually. And I gotta say, some of the little smaller details in this game still shine through how people kind of, interact with you, or if you hit them or something and they go, hey, and, it's interesting. It's a very lively world that was almost ahead of its time. And you got to keep in mind, for this upgrade here, is purely the resolution, right? It's not necessarily changing anything in the game. It's just boosting that and improving the fidelity and the quality of the experience significantly, which I think is really quite interesting. So yeah, just enjoy the rest of the trip if you want. and I hope you like this dive into a classic Western experience that is Red Dead Redemption.